Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko, and I'm a retired police captain with 24 years of experience out of Las Vegas. Currently, I travel the country and I teach people about courage, accountability, and leadership. So, in today's short podcast, I want to talk about something I heard recently where they were talking about how easy dopamine is very destructive to our health and mental health. And what I mean by that is getting that dopamine rush, getting that like feeling of, happiness or satisfaction without putting in the work to get it is one of the easiest tracks to addiction and really just overall lower life satisfaction. And there's so many ways this happens. Like every time you open up your phone and you start scrolling on social media, you're giving yourself a dopamine rush, but you're not putting work into it. It becomes an addiction. It becomes an escape. It becomes a distraction to what you're meant to be doing with your life. And and I'm just as guilty of this as anybody else. Contrast that to training to work up to competing in a marathon, or like I can say, I've trained and trained and trained to compete in a jiu-jitsu competition. And then after it's over, especially if I did well, I have this rush of dopamine and feeling proud. And I also am proud because I had all of that work that went into it. So I think that's what you lose if it's just that easy dopamine rush. It's that easy, doom scrolling. You didn't have to put in work to do that. You just literally had to reach over and open your phone. And I think we get addicted to that easy pleasure, that easy, distraction and feeling good, but without putting in the work. It's the same thing with fitness. It's, when you put time into building muscle, it gives you a sense of pride. It gives you confidence. It carries over into other parts of your life. It's there's a coach that I've followed some of his workouts. He does a 10,000 kettlebell swing workout, or challenge over a month. It's like 500 kettlebell swings a day, 5 days a week for a month. And you end up at 10,000 swings over a month. It is brutal. It is more a mental game than it is a physical, but it's also difficult on that. You can look it up. His name is Dan John. But he made a quote. They were talking about how fast you can lose muscle. And he was talking about, I think his quote is muscle gained over time, or muscle honestly gained, you lose slowly. I'm sure he said it more eloquently in a different way. Meaning if you rely on chemicals and, steroids or a bunch of testosterone or whatever to build muscle, then you'll lose it fast. But if you build that over years and years of consistency, if you have to take a break, you have to take time off, you don't lose it as fast. And I really like that. And I think that applies to other parts of life too. It's the difference between, scrolling on Instagram and reading a book. I always try to read as much as possible. I mean, there's times in life that I fall out of it, but I follow a cadence where I try and read something that is, like I call potato chips for the brain, like whatever, like a spy thriller or something like that. Then I read a nonfiction, leadership, something educational, and I try and read a classic and just kind of go through that cycle to keep myself interested in it. And when you finish a book, you always have like a sense of pride compared to, watching a TV show or looking at social media. So really just think about that as it is very destructive to have that dopamine rush without having to put any kind of effort into it. Appreciate you listening today. If you like the podcast, share it with a friend, subscribe, leave a review, and I appreciate you spending time with me today.